Good morning everybody, welcome back to Cilinix Crypto. Hope you're all doing great and welcome to this new video right here on altcoins. We're going to do a full update on altcoins again. We'll talk about the different possibilities here. We'll talk about, Altseason. Are altcoins still bullish? Are we going to pull back further? Are we going to see a crash? Is this the end of the bull market? We'll talk about all of that, right? Because obviously, altcoins have performed, or at least certain altcoins have performed very, very well over the course of the last week and a half, since last week Monday. Certain altcoins have done amazing. But then what happens is that we get the first pullback, which, it always happens. We always get pullbacks. If you go back to every rally we had, for example, April, May, we had a pullback. If you take a look at like May into the next rally here in July, we had a major pullback, but also in between we had pullbacks. Here you can see the rally we had in November, we had pullbacks. Like, it's normal. It's normal to have pullbacks. But a lot of people get afraid, and I understand that as well, right? Because the market starts to get bullish. By the time you also get a little bit more bullish, because back before that it was very bearish, it's already relatively late. You start longing things, and those longs are in a loss right now. Now, I cannot guarantee that those longs will be fine. It depends. I don't know what you're longing. A long on Litecoin is better than a long on Athena, I would argue, for example. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but still, right now, when we're talking about altcoins, which is obviously what I wanted to talk about, so far it's just a bit of rambling. Altcoins at this point of time still look fine. The thing is, like if you take a look at Bitcoin right here, Bitcoin looks fine. Bitcoin is holding 121,000 and 120,000. If Bitcoin falls down all the way to 117,000, we are still fine. Right, so I'm not too worried about the medium term of the market right now, especially not when taking a look at Bitcoin. The thing is that if you take a look at the Bitcoin dominance, I would say, all right, well, there's some room for growth, right? And if there's room for growth, if the Bitcoin dominance is going to create some sort of a bearish flag, for example, right here, before dropping down lower, altcoins are going to drop down lower. But the thing is that at this point of time, I'm not too worried about that. First of all, if we take a look at the technicals right here, if you take a look at others, for example, we haven't even lost a 30-day rolling VWAP. We're still holding an incredibly strong support level right here. We're holding that with strength, right? So others, this is an uptrend, right? And I don't really see a reason, also not fundamentally, to suspect that uptrend is not going to hold. Now, can we drop down lower? Yes. Does it look most likely short term that we will drop down lower? Yes, I think so as well. So it's good to know that, but ultimately these are still uptrends, and we are still in very deep uptrends. And then if you take a look at something like the total 3 right here, like there's no bearish divergences here. Maybe with the RSI, but who cares about the RSI? It's just a mathematical equation. I care more about volume, and there's no bearish divergence with the volume. We came here with more momentum than we came to the previous highs. And if you take a look at the total 3 right here, like this is also still what is this Fibonacci level? This is a very strange Fibonacci level. I think I drew it completely wrong. So you can see the total 3. This has broken above a significant resistance level right here, and it's holding that with volume, with strength and with volume as well. So I'm not too worried about altcoins right now, and one of the key reasons being, I already mentioned it briefly, is not only the strength we've seen with Bitcoin in the last week and a half, which is even though short term it might mean that Bitcoin is going to outperform altcoins a bit. Ultimately, that has always been a great sign. Then outside of that, when we take a look at general financial fundamentals, the S&P 500 pre-market is making new all-time highs right here. The Russell 2000 is struggling a bit, but is also in an uptrend. The volatility index is dropping down, has also opened lower right here. The dollar strength index is rallying a bit, which is not good, but it's nearing a major resistance level. So ultimately, talking about the fundamentals, talking about the technical setups for altcoins in general, I still think a bullish bias on altcoins is the right thing to have, while also keeping in mind that something like this Bitcoin strength, the recent price action over the course of the last 2-3 days in combination with the Bitcoin dominance means that altcoins can drop down a little bit lower, but there is room for that. It's not the case that altcoins right now are at the support they have to hold. That's lower, all right? So we have a bit of a buffer to remain bullish on altcoins. And that's what I think you need to know. At this point of time, there's not a lot of altcoins that are very strong. AVAX and Solana yesterday morning showed some potential. Maybe that continues, but it's too early to say that. And BNB is still quite strong, but that's you're not early with that. But those are my thoughts. That's sort of thing you need to know this morning. So thank you for watching, everybody. I'll see you all in my next videos, and bye.